Hey everybody, Steven here, and today I'm doing an unboxing video for the Delux M627 Wireless Gaming Mouse here. So I got this off of Amazon for $50. It's listed for like $49, and I think there's a coupon every now and then. I got $3 off. I've seen this before where it's like maybe 10 or 15% off, so you can always check for sales with this basically. So wanted to do this. I had done the Ajaz i305, love that wireless mouse. And so I found something that was essentially comparable, but a little bit more expensive, but still puts it in that market of, hey, this is under $50 where you can afford it, and it's not going to break the bank like some of the other ones that I actually have here, where I understand that, hey, $100+ for a mouse is a steep asking price for a lot of people. So with this, hoping that this one actually feels really, really good and is a solid buy for anybody looking right now. So just the specs really quick before I open this up. So number of buttons, 8. Button lifespan, 20 million. So 20 million clicks. That's actually lower than what I've seen with some of the higher ones, which is somewhere with like 50 million plus. With this, its working voltage is 5 volts. Working current, less than 500 milliamps. Polling rate is 125, 250, 500, and 1000 hertz. That's pretty standard with these. Lithium polymer battery capacity, 500 milliamps. Cable is 1.8 meters with a Type-C braided end to it. And with this, the 1.8 meters, that's going to be almost 6 foot. It's 5.9 feet. Compatible with Windows 7, 8, and 10. Sensor is a PMW3389. I've seen that with some of these other ones. I think that was actually in the Ajaz as well. And then it's only 50 grams and DPI goes up to 1600 here. It does have RGB lighting on it, of course. So let's get this thing unboxed. The packaging it's wider than I was expecting, but it's a nice packaging. I do like that. And then this is the box here. That is quality as well. Oh, we got magnets on it. That is actually really quality. I do like this better than the Ajaz. In terms of just this sitting in here, that is really nice. And one of the other reasons that I went with this is because it actually has a lot of different attachments to it. And just quick read, it feels really good in the hands. Just so you can hear that. On the bottom, we have the on-off switch. We have our sensor. And then the release, it looks like, for the side buttons, I'm assuming. But with this, different side attachments, it works through magnets with this. That off, so you'll just put it close and then it'll clip on. This actually has the skates on the bottom. So we have 3 on the bottom here, and then this attachment comes with skates. If you just want the side on here, that wouldn't have skates on it, right? And then looks like we have bottom ones as well. So it's only 50 grams, but we have weights that actually come with this. I like that. So you can actually adjust that. Then on this other side, if we want to put that. So if you wanted to make it extra wide, I suppose, you could do that. That has like wings on it. Take those off. The magnets on it work really, really easily. I like that. USB dongle here. Don't know if you can hide this underneath. So USB Type-C in the front here. USB dongle here. It says Deluxe on it. And then getting out the weights is going to be a little bit trickier. Underneath, braided cable here. That end's a little thick. But then we have the USB Type-C. I do like when they have that. Software driver. I haven't seen a disk for software in a super long time. Do people have disk drives anymore? I do have an external one I could use if I needed to. I don't know if I'm going to go that route or if I'm just going to try to track down the software with this. And then we have a user manual here, right? Small, straight to the point with this, right? So the extra weights are 6.5 grams. So that would bump this up to, what, 63 grams if you wanted to actually add these onto the side. Like I said, the harder part here is popping these out. Pop them out from the bottom. There we go. So let's get these placed on here. And so it's magnets on the bottom too, which is how you're actually going to end up putting these on there. If I can get these situated properly. There it goes. Let's see here. Yeah, that's substantially heavier. I like that feel. Let's put these attachments on it. Oh, this one. There it is. That is an interesting look too, because looking underneath this, there's actually magnets underneath this as well. I'm gonna have to look that up. So you can see through the centerpiece here. I mean, you can see through that, right? The camera will actually adjust to that. Yeah. The bottom here, got a magnet in there. In the front, we have the USB-C. If you look on the bottom, you can actually see up through to the scroll wheel. So interesting with this. Side buttons. I mean, feel-wise, it definitely feels solid. I mean, you can adjust the weights. I do like that. So I'm going to get this thing set up. We're going to do some B-roll so you guys get a better look at this mouse itself. We'll do a sound test again outside of me just doing it right now. And then I'll talk about my experience really quick with just playing some games. So let's go ahead and cut ahead. All right, so there's a handful of things I want to cover at the beginning here. One, I haven't mentioned directly, but this is an ambidextrous mouse. Two, the weight listed on the box is actually wrong. This is 100 grams, and then with the two weights, it makes it 113 grams, not 50 grams as listed. With that, I was picking up my Logitech G703, and I was like, this actually feels a little bit lighter. And I know it's a heavier mouse. It's actually 100 grams. So that's when I double checked and found that out. Also, the battery life is 50 hours, but they don't specify whether that's with the lights on or off. My assumption is that's with the lights off. And so with them on, you're probably going to get realistically 25 to 30 hours, just depending on your shut-off times and stuff like that with the lighting. Also, these sliders have plastic on them. I was moving this around, and usually sliders or the skis on the bottom have a break-in period. And this felt a little bit off. I flipped it over and they were on there, peeled them off, and it actually feels really, really good after that. So something to be mindful of. In terms of the setup, it was easy-ish. The problem I ran into was tracking down the software, which one of the reviews on Amazon knocked it for that. And so the website listed on the manual isn't the one you're going to want to go to. On the Amazon listing, they have the actual one. So I'll make sure that is in the description so you guys don't have a hard time actually finding that. And then the software is okay. It's kind of like the Ajaz. It's nothing to speak about really. It's not great, especially when you're comparing it to Razer's software or Logitech software or Corsair or any of the bigger brands. It does the basics, changing DPI settings, changing the polling rate, things like that. You can change the buttons or remap them. You can make macros, which I never do that. And then you can tweak the lighting. The lighting is really basic. You have static, you have like a color cycle that goes through like a breathing rate, and then you have the neon version of that. With this, you can change the speed of it, and then beyond that, you can change when this actually turns the lights off, which by default is it says 0.5, which I'm assuming is 30 seconds. And so that's pretty bare bones. The lighting on it though does look really good, even though it's kind of limited with the options. The big thing here is going to be the aesthetics of the mouse in general. So this is going to get into the pros that I've noticed so far, and then I'll talk about the cons. So to start out, just in general, the aesthetics, I think this mouse looks really good. The line work that they have on it, how they've done the lighting is phenomenal. So in terms of the battery life, it's actually indicated on the front of the mouse. It'll be green, and then it runs along the side towards the middle of the mouse, and then that'll actually change colors until you get to red, and you know you're about to lose all of the battery with this. But the line work in general, the lights, and also with this, the USB dongle, I mentioned it when I pulled it out. I was like, oh, I wish they would have had a place that you could put this on the bottom. It's different. They actually have this little plastic attachment that was actually in, and so that will actually go at the bottom or back end of the mouse. It fits in this plastic kind of container thing, and then that actually attaches to the back, and with this it has a magnet on it, so it just slides in. There's a sliding button on the bottom of the mouse that you push to actually kind of protrude it out, and then you can take that out and remove it. and then that actual plastic piece feeds into the lighting here. So when you're looking at the lighting, it's actually a part of it. So very ingenious with how they've done everything. I just like the look in general, especially when comparing this to the more expensive mice that I have here in the house that are $100+. I think this, for the aesthetics, is even better than most of these. Now, beyond that, the performance is good. I didn't have any problems with it. There wasn't any input lag, there wasn't any dropping or anything like that, so I haven't had any issues with that so far. There is another issue that I'm going to talk about that's a con so far, but before I get into that, I do want to do a sound test with this so that you guys can actually hear what these buttons sound like. Alright, so that was the sound test. Hopefully that helps you with kind of understanding, obviously not just the sound, but what this might feel like in your hand, because this is a clickier sounding mouse. So you're going to want that, otherwise this might not appeal to you. I personally like it, but I know some people want something that's a little more silent. Now, as I mentioned, performance was really good. I played Doom Eternal, didn't have any issues with that. But this kind of is a segue over to the cons that I've noticed, and it only happened twice, which was that the mouse wouldn't respond. So the lighting kind of did the, I have it set for 3 minutes, so at 3 minutes, if I haven't done anything, it turns off. And I'd move it around again to get it to go, and it wouldn't. So I'd have to unplug the dongle and then plug it back in. It only happened twice early with setup, and it hasn't happened since, so I'm wondering if that was just something going on with me trying to actually get it set up. I'm going to save that for the review, and usually the review for me is if I've had any issues, could I workshop them and find the solution? That's kind of part of it. And so far it hasn't happened again, but I did want to let people know with that. On the Amazon reviews, somebody said that the scroll wheel didn't work. That was their issue with it, and then tracking down the software was the complaint, but you guys will have the software link in the description if you end up buying this. So that's the big complaint with this. Outside of the software, it just isn't that good. It's okay, but you can definitely tell that it's not coming from a massive company that really puts a lot of effort into the software, like Logitech, Corsair, Razer, any of those. So it's okay, but if you're on a budget, I think this mouse is incredible. And like I mentioned, the aesthetics with this are just top notch, in my opinion. So with that being said, I want to cut back. I want to do one last thing, which is compare these to each other very briefly, just for the aesthetics, so that you guys can kind of see the difference for a second, just because I think for the price point, and this being an extremely good looking mouse, it's something to note compared to $100+ mouse. All right, so to kind of finish out here, just looking at really the aesthetics between this and the other mice that I have. So looking at this and then the Razer Viper Ultimate here, this one's a lot lighter. Like I said, the aesthetics with this are just really good. I don't know why I'm just extremely attracted to the look with this. And then we have the Logitech G703 here. And then we also have the is this the 900? Yeah, the G900 here. This is a closer look to this, especially when you look at the side and the line work with it. This is the heaviest with the additional weights here compared to any of these. And I actually like the weight. I like a heavier mouse personally. That's just me. But last thing with this, in terms of the aesthetic, like I said, $50, and it looks, in my opinion, better. I would prefer this aesthetic over my $100+ ones here. But it did actually drop that connection a couple more times. So when it's turning off, so I'm gonna have to play around with this for the review. I actually have to turn the mouse off and then back on so it'll reconnect to my PC here. So once it turns off and it does the auto shut off for the lighting here, that's when I go to move it again, there's just zero response. I literally have to turn it off and then on, and then it connects. I mean, it's fully charged, so I don't think that's a battery issue. I can't find this on the software, although I haven't dug around a ton. Maybe there's something hidden that I need to actually change, but that would be my only complaint so far, because other than that, I haven't had any issues with the performance or anything like that. And so for $50, I'm blown away by the aesthetics. The performance is good, but I think right now, for me at least, what's holding it back is whatever this issue is that I'm wondering how I fix this. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. What do you think of the aesthetics with this? What do you think of the sound with it? Is it something that you would buy? And a quick comparison to the i305, the Ajaz one. This has a little bit more weight to it. I like the aesthetics obviously more. The connection between the two in terms of like performance or anything like that, they're pretty similar, but the Ajaz didn't shut off. And the software very similar to this. I would prefer the Ajaz. It was a little bit easier to control. It had a little bit more lighting options with it compared to this, but like I said, I don't know, something about the aesthetics of this I just really, really like. So I'm going to spend more time, spend a couple weeks with this. Hopefully I can figure out this issue, but I will have a link for this in the description. So you guys can actually find this as well as the software if you do buy it, so you don't have to track it down for yourself. So that's going to be it for this video, everybody. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. Thanks so much for watching.